Just when you thought dealer markups were a thing of the past, unfortunately now dealers are getting greasy again, and we're finding markups anywhere from 19, 20, even 25% above sticker. Yes, in fact, your favorite new car mightn't be one of those highest markup vehicles. I thought the dealers were actually finished with this, and likely you probably did as well. We definitely want to target some of the best buying opportunities, but I would strongly suggest staying away from any vehicle with a market adjustment fee tagged onto it again. We've been paying too much as it is. MSRPs are going through the roof as it is, and paying above sticker just makes 0 sense whatsoever. Sadly, unfortunately, there's a common denominator with some of the manufacturers that are notorious for cranking up extra pricing, for hiking up those prices and putting them up way above what they should be. I have a list of some of those vehicles. Let's just talk about it, and I just can't help but sharing this latest and greatest piece of information. We're definitely going to talk about some of the things you want to do to avoid some of that so you don't get trapped, because I don't like getting trapped, and I certainly don't like paying more money than I need to for a vehicle. So for any of you folks out there not totally familiar with what's been going on in the last 2 years, obviously with supply chain shortages, vehicle shortages, and the excess number of buyers, what we talked about supply and demand at its ultimate worst and the best, depending on which perspective and your side of the coin you're looking at. And so unfortunately, with the shortage of some vehicles that we saw in the last couple of years, there was a lot of people willing to throw down their hard-earned dollars, and in a lot of cases, just to be the first to the punch and get their new vehicle, they were willing to spend even more. And well, it didn't take very long for those sharks to smell blood, and they were on top of customers and willing to slap down extra fees. Market adjustment fees, just some number they literally picked out of their hat. Clearly, it really challenges the notion of ethics. Certainly not a conversation about qualities and morals. And I personally can't help but think that if a dealer's slapping on those fees, I'll be the first one to walk out the door. I don't need that vehicle that bad. There's lots of great choices out there. And even if you need to have that vehicle, wait it out. I'd rather keep the old beater that I'm driving today and wait for that opportunity to pounce. Why pay more for a vehicle than the manufacturer actually suggests that these vehicles are worth? Yes, I get it. It's capitalism at its finest. But why are we paying more when these vehicles are not given away? They're so overpriced to begin with. My personal thought is be willing to walk away. So to cut to the chase, the market adjustment fee is simply nothing more than what a dealer sees as with sticker MSRP, and then they go and slap on an addendum, so to speak, that adds another market premium to that vehicle. They're somehow in their own minds, and as well into the market, able to justify that these vehicles are worth more than what the dealership, than what the manufacturer actually suggests, and so they add these fees, also known as additional dealer markup or market adjustment premium, and you'll often find it right next to the dealer installed extras. For example, roof racks and lift kits and extra tires or other kinds of add-ons you're finding, and you'll find that addendum in there where you'll find that market adjustment fee often, that it's applied at the dealer level. So unfortunately, a lot of these vehicles' prices are literally at the mercy of the dealer and what the market can bear. Would you actually believe it that there is no law that currently exists that does actually prohibit these dealers from adding on these extra market adjustment fees? It's absolutely just playing dirty pool in this arena. Not a good place to be. I personally would never ever buy a vehicle that has an additional market adjustment fee tacked on. And so while a lot of dealers will actually use the justification, because if you ask them and you go look in the window sticker and it says this vehicle's $100,000 even, and all of a sudden you ask them how much for that vehicle and they'll tell you it's $138,000, then you have to ask, well, we've got an extra set of rims and tires we put on there, and we put a remote starter, and of course there's a market adjustment fee, and you're like, wow, this is absolutely mind-blowing. This actually happened to me recently where I walked into the dealership of a local Chevy dealer and they had a new Corvette Z06. Of course, I asked them for that, and we know that around sticker they're probably about $150,000, $160,000, but we also know that vehicle's in really high demand and hard to come by. So Chevy got the notion, hey, why don't we tack on an additional premium? They absolutely were ruthless in doing that and trying to find a Z06 for anything less than $230,000, $240,000 is a seriously futile effort. Market adjustment fee. That's right. And how they were able to do that was they bought it, titled it under a different name, and they resold it with 0 miles, basically delivery miles, and were able to just pitch it. That way they could do it legally, because at the time GM wasn't really on board with this whole dealers locally adding on these extra market fees. So a lot of times they were taking these on a personal membership or ownership and then selling it from there. Now, sadly, that is one example. Porsche, we know there's lots of memes about that. The 911 GT2 RS, everybody selling their left kidney or their right leg to get a hold of a new 911 GT3 RS. Those were in high demand, low numbers, and Porsche was doing their best to drive up that demand, reduce the number of vehicles made, and it was just such a hot car. Everybody needed to have one, and as a result, they held off and it cranked up all kinds of additional fees to the point where you had to pay absolutely astronomical money to get your hands on a flat six naturally aspirated engine. Yeah, would you believe it? We also know the Hyundai Palisade was another vehicle that was hard to come by, minivan central, but a lot of people wanted the ma and pa, the kids. They got the 25 kids in the back eating ice cream, swilling all over the dogs and the cats and the pets and the gardening projects, as well as a knitting experience, all packaged in the back. It just seemed like a vehicle that everybody needed to have if they liked practicality, but they were in short order. They were hard to come by and people were grossly overpaying. And of course, we also have heard what allegedly that manufacturer's done recently, where specifically in the Canada side, they've parked it in a remote lot, giving it that sense that actually there was a shortage when in fact the vehicle was just parked down the road waiting for its next unlikely customer. So a lot of these manufacturers are finding different creative ways to either simulate a shortage or actually have a shortage, but driving the buzz and actually making people feel like they needed to have it and are willing to spend more money than the vehicle's even worth. So this is really a case of buyer beware, and is apparently these dealers actually don't have to totally disclose. They have to show it, but they don't have to really explain why. You just have to know that vehicles that are really highly popular, I would almost anticipate seeing a market adjustment fee. This wasn't things that happened years ago. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you'd never even hear about this. This is ludicrous. You would pay what that vehicle was worth and nothing more. Other than the add-ons, of course. You wanted feature up, put more features and add-ons and options. Yeah, of course you'd pay for that. But market adjustment fee, just some ad hoc number that they threw down on the paper because they think the market will bear, this is getting out of hand. So in my personal experiences, there's really 3 quick ways to sort of keep some of this at bay and limit your impact or getting hammered by market adjustment fees. Number 1 is, of course, do your research. Know what that vehicle's worth. Study online. Price your own vehicle on that website. If you're from Canada, US, whatever, go onto that site, build your own, and understand with all the options you're looking for and the particular style and the configuration of that vehicle that you know what to expect for the price of that vehicle. And then and only then are you prepared in a place where you know what to expect. You shouldn't be seeing another $8,000 or $10,000 tacked on. You should be seeing pretty much to the dollar what that vehicle priced at online. Another tip I'd suggest is just be ready to walk away. I've personally done that, and I've said this before, and that goes with new or used. When you're negotiating, as soon as you show that you're eager beaver and you need to have that vehicle and your emotions are built and they're driving and you're getting flush and you're getting excited and you've got this gleam in your eyes, they know that. That's what these people do for a living, and they can read you like a book. So as soon as you show you're a little bit excited, you have to have it, and you're really interested, you think they're going to negotiate? No, they're going to be inclined to hold their own. You basically have to play hardball, be firm, not rude, but be willing to walk away. And that's always been my game, and I've played that a few times. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But realistically, you have to be willing to walk away. Don't get too fixated on that vehicle and be willing to just take a hike. Another tip I'd suggest is if you're shopping around, we know on the US side the Monroney sticker is actually legal binding. Essentially, it sits up there, stuck to the window. It tells you the make, model, the year, all of that. It gives you all the statistics, give you all the whole highlight of all the options and features, and it gives you the grand total of what that car should actually cost you. But what I'd suggest is in Canadian side of the border, it's actually not law. So I would be looking for that MSRP. I'd be trying to find that dealer invoice. I'd be looking at on the US side, understand, look at that, and then see if there's an addendum. If somebody's got another sticker beside that or somewhere else on the vehicle that actually is contrary to what you're seeing, that bottom line, then that's probably an addendum. They've added some items at the dealer level, and then I would really call them out and be willing to walk away. So know what that sticker price is, know what that Monroney sticker is saying, and try to stick as close to that as physically possible. And if you're not happy with the deal that you're getting, again, walk away. And so while popularity of all types of vehicles comes and goes, we've seen popularity with some of the electric market, and then it comes and then it goes. Electric vehicles are popular with everybody, but if it's a hot new model, it might shine and somebody might want to get a hold of it, and therefore it might drive prices up. We know a lot of the hybrid Toyotas were really hard to come by. Remember, Toyota was building on time type of delivery, and so what they meant was there was very few to pick from on the lot, and if you wanted to have one, yeah, you had to wait a long time. long time. A lot of the hybrids, you had to wait 1.5 to 2 years. So for some remote reason, one shows up on the lot and it becomes available, they seem to be able to charge whatever they want. And that's where you can get snookered. A lot of people didn't have the patience to wait, so they were willing to pay a little bit more. But there are some vehicles that I really have to share that are absolutely gone through the roof in pricing. And I ask each and every one of you to drop in the comment section below if it surprises you the common denominator of some of the list of vehicles that I have personally researched and found that are some of the biggest hooligans in terms of overpricing for their vehicles. Now, let's get to it. We've seen the Cadillac CT4V, that's the hot version, go up as much as 19.3% because it's a hot, popular new vehicle, spicy looking, great performance. Of course, a lot of people wanted it, but it's gone up. A lot of these dealers are asking big markups for those vehicles. But on top of it, BMW and the X3M, that's that hot little 500 horsepower special, 19.3% above stickers where they average out. And the Toyota Cross Hybrid, of course, we also know that. And the Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid, we know that. As I've said, a lot of the Toyotas are popular. Those have also gone up 19.4% on average above MSRP. So we also know about the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. We know that's off the lunch, but also the Porsche 917 Boxster, their little mid-engine sports car, is up on average about 19.9% above sticker. And the CT5V is up about 20% above sticker, as well as a Porsche Taycan wagon, 20.9% above sticker. And would you believe it, even the Porsche Macan is up about 21.3% on average above sticker price, which is surprising because now right around the corner they have the pure Macan EV as they're transitioning that model straight out to electric, and gone are the internal combustion engines for that particular model. Even the Porsche Cayenne is a pretty mainstream generic SUV, but 21.9% on average above sticker is what most customers are paying. And the Porsche Taycan sedan is averaging over 23% above sticker, almost 25% of its value above on top, just in fluffy market adjustment fee because people just wanted to have them. And you will never believe what the worst hooligan outside of maybe a GT3 RS is. Yes, it's the Mini Cooper hardtop at a whopping 25.5% above sticker price just to get your hands on one of these vehicles because they're popular. People wanted them. There's not a mass amount around, and people were just willing to throw down all of their hard-earned dollars just to get their hands on one of these vehicles. Absolutely mind-blowing to me why anybody would pay $1 over sticker. Even paying sticker price for some of these vehicles is ludicrous in my mind. I mean, look at the makes from Jeep. Obviously, the Wranglers are out to lunch, and they've actually had to claw back some of their pricing. The Rams sliding up in their base MSRPs. Don't get it. They're hardly selling like hotcakes. And a lot of manufacturers are just getting careless and reckless. Now we know 2024 is a year of all kinds of ups and downs and ebbs and flows, and we would anticipate that you're going to probably see less and less and less of these market adjustment fees. But don't kid yourself. Every single transaction, every vehicle you're shopping for, you better be researching it. And I would again suggest do a build your own, check online and shop around and be willing to go from one dealer to the next. Otherwise, one dealer might hold you by the, whatchamacallits, but the next dealer might be willing to bid. Some of the bigger dealers might get cocky and they're willing to stand by their pricing. Don't worry about that. Keep moving. Maybe check outside of your city. For example, I might be from one city in Alberta. I might look at the other city and check some of the dealers there. If it means traveling a little bit for the better deal, I'm willing to do that. The warranty is supported by, whatever that manufacturer is in Canada or in the United States, as long as you don't cross that border. So in most cases, you don't even necessarily have to be loyal to that specific location. And there's really one best way to combat this whole problem with market adjustment is don't buy. The more people resist, the more you're prepared to walk away and go buy something different, the more these dealers and manufacturers will start figuring that out. And with enough time and influence, they will eventually give up. So definitely want to check out that video because that's all about how Jeep and Stellantis are starting to panic as buyers respond because of the dealers have literally just gone too far. Hope to see each and every one of you on the next one. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.